Welcome to the Art of Classiness podcast, a show where we redefine what it means to be a classy lady. And sometimes it's messy. I'm Robin.
And I'm Deborah, two friends turned classy ladies who are here to discuss life's ups and downs, navigating the complexities of adulthood, and how the gift of friendship is essential to belonging.
Tonight, we're debunking the 4 biggest lies we tell ourselves about high-functioning depression, the kind where you crush your goals but crumble inside.
These aren't just excuses. They're the silent scripts that keep classy ladies stuck. We're calling them out, flipping them, and showing how to rewrite the story.
So follow along, give us your feedback, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
What's up, classy ladies and gentlemen? Robin, what's going on?
I just got home from a really fun bingo event at a bar at 9:30 in the morning.
Okay, all right.
It's called Not Your Grandma's Bingo.
Do they serve nachos?
No.
Come on.
I don't think it's spelled like that. It just ends up sounding like that.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But it's really fun. Like, families are there. There's some people bringing their kids, and it's a very, like, party vibe environment. Lots of fun music playing and singing along. Like, they take lots of breaks. And it all goes to a good cause. I think every week they choose a different fundraiser to donate the proceeds to. So.
Oh, great. I love that.
Yeah.
Drinking and gambling for a cause, you know?
Yeah, but I didn't drink anything because I knew we were recording after this.
You didn't want to be like, this is the Art of Classiness.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would sound. And I'd probably get a headache halfway through.
Yeah, lose steam.
Because that's what happens when I drink now.
I know, right? Oh, well, great. That's so fun.
Yeah. How are you?
Whew.
Yeah.
I had a wild past few days, man. Wild past few days. My son woke me up in the middle of the night and did the classic, I froed up in the middle of the night.
Oh, he said it like that?
Yeah, pretty much. And I was like, it's okay. You know, I went upstairs and like, sure enough, yeah, threw up all in his bed. So I was like, okay, stripped everything out, you know, threw it in the laundry and like, just come sleep with me. Because this is right after Halloween. And so I just thought he ate too much candy. He did it. You know, he found a way. He ate too much. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, definitely some kind of stomach bug. Literally threw up every hour for the rest of the night, from midnight till 8, 9 in the morning.
That is torture. Poor kid.
I mean, and I can relate as a chronic puker, aka Pukey Debbie, my hangover alter ego. It was so hard for me to watch because I knew exactly how terrible he felt. And he's just so sweet and it was so sad seeing him in that state.
Yeah.
And then in the early hours of the morning, my dog Chaco decided, you know what? I'm going to get in on this. And he started regurgitating. And then after breakfast, he threw up all of his food. Sorry, listeners, trigger warning. We're getting gross. I should have done that earlier, but we will be talking about vomit. And he had a piece of plastic in his food. And I was like, oh, he obviously ate something he shouldn't have, not thinking much of it.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't really put down any food the rest of the day. And then yesterday morning, he was vomiting bile. So I took him to the vet, and he did eat something he was not supposed to. They found a foreign object in his stomach in the x-ray. So he is still at the vet, recovering from stomach surgery.
Oh, my God.
And it's frustrating because I asked them to take a picture of what they found. And they said they really couldn't tell what it is. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to figure it out because he doesn't really get into things like that. And it's just like, God bless it. You know, I feel so bad for him. It's going to be like a pretty long recovery. And I haven't told my kids yet because I picked them up later today. And it's just really been weighing on me. I didn't really have a chance yesterday to process it.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to process it now. And, you know, vets are not cheap. They are not. It is hard when they present you that number. And they're like, what do you think? And I go, I don't think I have a choice here, ma'am. Like, I'm not sure what you've basically told me. I have no options. Like,
will you take $4,500?
Yeah, like, can we negotiate? Like, I know I go, can I ask for a lower price? And she's like, no. And I was like, then I guess I approve of this estimate. Like, I don't really know, and it's funny because before she told me the estimate, she told me literally every single thing that they were going to do. And every time she was adding in a new thing, like, then we'll give him fluids and then we'll monitor his heart rate. Then we'll do blood work. And I'm just thinking, cha-ching, 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 like waiting for this number. And it was a hefty one. But this is why I'm just very grateful to be working full time again. And I know I can pay it off and not interrupt my quality of life right now. So all things considered, it's going to be okay. But man, sometimes life just really punches you in the face. And that's what this weekend felt like.
Yeah, like the timing is impeccable.
Yeah.
The universe is like, Debbie, you got a job?
Yeah. We found a way for you to spend that money that you've been so hoping to receive over the past year. So yeah, it's like, what is the point of having a full-time job if not to be paying off debts for the rest of your life,
Yeah. Yep.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And hopefully Chaco has an easy recovery and he has learned his lesson. Don't get into shit.
Don't be eating shit like that, Chalkies. Okay, well, honestly, we couldn't be talking about a better topic today because when I tell you, it is taking everything in me to show up for this recording today, given how anxious I feel, how totally off my rhythm. I really just want to be either hyper productive doing other things that make me feel like I add value to the world or doom scrolling on my phone. And I think this is a very relatable feeling for a lot of people. So today we're just really excited to tackle this topic of high functioning depression and anxiety and the lies that we tell ourselves in order to cope with it.
Yeah, when we were deciding on a topic and we came across this one, I know it all too well in so many different ways. Like you go through all these different phases in your teens, your 20s, your 30s. Like I'm nearing 40 and I really identify on multiple levels with these common phrases that we at the time didn't even realize they were lies. Like I truly believed that I was fine.
Yeah.
Because I was being a badass working 4 jobs and having 0 downtime. It's like, I got to do what I got to do. I'm paying my bills. Go me. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're doing well inside.
No, it really doesn't. And I think you and we both have had our own unique journeys with realizing that we were really believing a false narrative about what mental health really looks like and how depression can be deceptive. So I think it'll be helpful for us to go over these 4 lies that fuel high functioning depression and the hidden struggle that women who tell themselves these lies endure.
That's right. So let's dive in to lie number 1. And that is, if I'm functioning, I'm fine.
It's so hard. It is the productivity trap, right? If I'm doing, then everything's okay. As long as I'm getting something done, it will be fine, and you kind of hang your hat on these achievements and you're totally disregarding the fact that that could be a symptom for something deeper that's going on with you.
Well, and for me, it was this cycle of creating these impossibly long to-do lists, barely checking 2 off, feeling so much shame and disappointment with myself for not doing enough or accomplishing those things that I set out to do. It's like, why didn't you do this? You could have done this, but you didn't.
Right.
And not tying together like why that's happening, like there's more going on inside that's preventing you from functioning at a level that you want to, but also you're setting your goals too high. Like I was clearly an overachiever. And I still struggle with that today.
I do too. And even though we're like articulating this as a lie, right? That if I am functioning, if I'm doing things, then obviously I can't be that depressed because a depressed person doesn't get out of bed and they can't get off the couch. And look at me. I've done a million things today and I worked out and I made my own dinner and look at all the work I've done. And it feels true when you say that because society rewards output and productivity. I mean, we live in a hyper-capitalistic society, so being valuable and useful and having output is rewarded everywhere, from your job to the way you look to how you eat. Like, it's constantly rewarded. And so functioning kind of becomes an identity currency almost.
We found some studies done on these kinds of high functioning cases. And this one is from 𝗂𝐵𝐵𝐴 from 2022. And they found that the PHQ-9 misses 50% of high functioning cases because it weighs days in bed over days faking it. So they're not applying like a much higher percentage of the working world, people that have to keep functioning even if they feel like shit because you have no choice.
Yeah. And I think for a long time, I did not realize that I suffered from anxiety and depression because I wasn't the type of person that wallowed, right? Wallowing was something that maybe I would do at nighttime when I already wasn't going to be productive anyway. But I wasn't the kind of person that was like canceling plans or calling off work. Like, oh my God, I would never have taken a mental health day because I almost like didn't want to just be alone with my thoughts and actually lie in the stillness of how I was feeling. So if I were to be assessed by someone who's using this assessment, I would probably totally miss the mark, or they would miss the mark on me, I should say, and say, oh, actually, like, you're totally fine. You're functioning, so it's fine.
Well, and I would argue that pre-pandemic, it was never really okay to take a mental health day.
Yeah.
Like, you had to just say, I'm sick. I'm feeling under the weather. Like, I didn't feel like I was safe to just say, like, I need to take a day for myself.
Yeah. So it's hard to be someone with high functioning depression in a hyper productive society, in a corporate work environment, or even in your family life at home. So if you are feeling like underneath the surface, you are crumbling, but you can't rectify being depressed because you have so much output, how can we like flip the narrative so people stop telling themselves this lie?
Well, I think there's a difference between functioning and feeling. I think a big identifier with depression is that there's a sense of apathy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have the ability to feel much of anything. And so I think creating some kind of scale where you're like, okay, how well am I functioning between 1 and 10? But what am I feeling 1 to 10? Like, if your feeling is really low, it's like, okay, something's actually wrong here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point. And then you actually have you can quantify the number, right?
Right.
So if you're like, I am functioning at a 9, I did my laundry, made my bed, went grocery shopping, cleaned the house, followed up on emails, like did this and that. And then I were to say, how am I feeling right now?
And you know what? Actually, what comes to mind for me is stay-at-home moms. In fact, like moms that work as well.
Right.
Who do everything, take care of the kids' lunches, picking them up, dropping them off, sports, all these after-school activities. And then they have to get home and make dinner. And yeah, that's super high functioning. And how many women today are talking about how lonely they feel.
Right.
And underappreciated.
Right. Yes, that is such a great point in that, yeah, single moms, working moms, stay-at-home moms shoulder such a burden of having to plan and kind of execute a lot of those duties for their kids. And there's a whole current happening under the seemingly calm water at the surface that could be pulling them down. So if that resonates with you, yeah, we urge you to ask yourself, like, how am I functioning and how am I feeling and what is the difference in those numbers? Because if you're functioning at a 9, but you're feeling a 2, that is a huge difference. Like you want those two numbers to kind of be closely coupled and hopefully near a 5 or a 6, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like the functioning should equal a positive feeling of accomplishment versus the shit never ends.
Right. As soon as, and then you realize soon isn't ever coming, you know?
Yeah.
This is the now. So I think a takeaway from this lie that we tell ourselves is classy is pausing to ask, how do I actually feel? Creating a check-in system with yourselves. Don't just check the boxes on your to-do list. Check in with yourself and really ask how you're feeling, and are you trying to escape that feeling by doing so much?
Right. Yeah, very well said. And I would even add, if you're not already including a kind of self-care activity for yourself, make space for that. Because I think oftentimes just by doing that, you become more aware of how you're feeling when you're not in a relaxed state.
Yeah.
Something as simple as going to yoga, where, set an intention and you're just there with yourself. I don't know. That's what I love yoga for. It's really great for my mental stability.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm able to go into a meditative state, but sometimes I find that really difficult if I'm having a tough mental health day. And then my mind's all over the place.
Right. Yeah. So if you're already good at scheduling a million things for other people, you should be able to schedule 15 to 30 minutes for yourself a day, even if all you do is feel your feelings.
Yes. Moving on to lie number 2. And this one I feel like really resonates with a lot of single moms, working moms. I don't have time to fall apart.
Been there, live there, own property there.
Yeah. And especially before I was with Seth, where I, kind of had someone taking care of me for once, which I had never experienced in my life.
Yeah.
And it took me a while even then to still feel safe to fall apart because there was nothing there to catch me if I stopped working and paying the bills. Like, the core idea behind this is you're treating burnout as a status symbol and rest like laziness. And I identify with that so much. Anytime I'm in a resting state, like just laying down for a little while,
yeah, I
feel lazy.
Same. And there are a lot of weekend nights where I don't really have a whole lot, quote unquote, to do, right? I don't have any, sometimes we're not recording or I don't have plans. And I was talking with a group of single women that I hang out with who are awesome and was saying like, yeah, I don't have any plans for Saturday and I'm so excited. And someone was like, are you just going to veg out on the couch? And I was like, I don't let myself start vegging until 8 p.m. And my friend was like, why? And I was like, well, because part of me, it is valid. Like once I start either binging or scrolling, there's no getting back off the couch. Like that to me is like the second to last destination, the last destination being bed,
It's true.
So for me, I'm like, if I start doing that now, I'm never going to get this other stuff done and that's going to bother me tomorrow. But she really challenged me in that moment to be like, that's just an arbitrary thing that you've made up for yourself. It doesn't make you, I think it really checked my productivity bias, which I think a lot of people who believe this lie have, which is you can be lazy, but I can't be lazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad that works for you, but I have so much going on in my life. My life has got a lot of facets to it that I can't just wallow and lay on the couch and take a day off, but I'm glad you can. And it sounds judgy, but I feel like I've definitely had that perception before.
Well, and I think this is particularly true to millennials because we were the start of the hustle culture.
Yeah.
Where the grind was glorified.
Oh, yeah.
I remember using grinding as a constant term.
Yep.
And like rest truly felt like sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
That was embedded in our brains. And so I'm really happy to see like the generations behind us understanding what it means to actually rest and take care of yourself. But we're definitely a very unique generation where there were a lot of shifts happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why for us especially, it feels so true.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And you know who I kind of blame for this like glorification of the grind?
Who?
LinkedIn. LinkedIn and the ability to post. And all of a sudden you had all these quote unquote thought leaders being like, I get more done in one day than my team does in a week. Or like, here's what waking up at 3 a.m. every day taught me about B2B sales.
Oh my God. I hate seeing that shit.
I hate it so much.
I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. I'm not doing it.
No. It's like, good for you. You get less sleep than me. You don't get an award. And like millennials, that idea was shoved down our throat that we were the lazy ones because we wanted like slightly more flexibility at work. And a lot of people overcompensated by working even harder and not wanting to be associated with this like lazy stereotype that a lot of boomers tried to put on millennials early on.
Well, you know what else they tried to do? What else they did was they would make one person work 3 people's jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was that.
Without a raise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we were promised that if we did that, we would be rewarded. And so few of us actually were.
Yes.
And so it's really hard to relinquish that type of atmosphere. Like my first job post graduate school was very much a grind culture. Like you were expected to be butts in seats 7:30 in the morning. If you left before 6 p.m., people were like, oh, what do you got, big plans or something? Like, because I felt like if I was not showing people that I was working all the time, then I was not good enough.
Right.
And that really seeps into your psyche when you have these feelings of depression and anxiety that you have to keep up that facade. Because even if your world is crumbling underneath, you're like, I don't have time to fall apart because I've made my life so arbitrarily busy. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is the perfect time to plug in another study. And this one's from the Harvard Study of Adult Development, also from 2022. Chronic busyness correlates with emotional numbness. Overscheduling is a common avoidance tactic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is exactly what you just said.
Exactly. Exactly. And you're like, you actually don't have to do all these things that you've kind of created for no reason other than to try to look busy. So it's a really easy trap to fall into, I think.
And when COVID happened and everyone was forced to stop, slammed on the brakes, can't leave the house.
Right.
I lived alone. Okay. And I very much kept a busy schedule. If I wasn't working, I was socializing. And I learned very quickly during COVID that it was because I was terrified to be alone with my thoughts. And so I had to face that head on.
Yeah.
It was a great growing opportunity for me, but boy, did it suck.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're used to numbing yourself with so many things and not really having time to process. And I feel like yesterday was kind of a perfect example. Like I was sort of being hit with a lot of stressful things all happening at once. And at the same time, I had planned something fun for myself to do that day that I really wanted to be present for and try to enjoy myself as best as possible. And I really did just compartmentalize everything that was going on. I was like, nope, not going to think about the vet, not going to think about my son being sick, not going to think about all these things I have to do for work. I'm just going to try to be in the moment. And I, in some ways it was great for the moment. And today it's like all of those things are like reeling over me. And I just now feel totally overstimulated, kind of processing everything that I was trying to shove down by staying busy and being in a good mood and being active. Now that I have, it's a Sunday, waking up and just being alone in my house, all of those things just come flooding in. And I really did want to just be like, okay, go to the gym. Let's clean the house. Let's work on the podcast. Like, let's do this and just kind of keep that momentum going. But I made a conscious decision to just kind of allow myself to feel all of these things. Partly because I knew we were recording this episode and I was like, I really can't be a fraud on this. Like, I have to practice what we're preaching.
Right.
But, when you do that, when you're so busy with just like having so much noise, the quiet can be the scariest part.
So true. And, the lie of I don't have time to fall apart, the way that you can flip that script is carving out time to fall apart. Put that in your busy schedule.
Right.
Take 20 minutes to spiral, cry, scream into a pillow, like whatever it is that you need to do, make time for it. Because if you continue to put that off, it's only going to compound and will be so much worse when you no longer have space. You can't keep pushing it down.
Yeah. And that exertion of emotion, of however you want to schedule your time, it doesn't always have to be bawling your eyes out, right? There was one year in a pretty stressful environment, I joked that I was going to give my teammates 𝗓𝗵𝐵𝐴 pillows. Like I was going to sew a 𝗓𝗓𝐵𝐴 pillow for everyone so that they could just yell into it on the weekends when they weren't at work. But honestly, really just putting it all out there, whether it's crying, screaming, or even dancing, man. Don't underestimate the power of getting energy out by just having a kitchen dance party, which is exactly what I did today, actually, to really kind of just loosen myself up and kind of get rid of a lot of the anxiousness I was feeling. But really making an intentional effort to release yourself of a lot of things that might be clogging up your system.
Yeah, I think, isn't there science behind that? Like moving your body, shaking things out, like it literally gives your body this opportunity to release the stress. So dancing, yes.
I love a kitchen dance.
That's a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah. And, don't make that be such a diversion tactic that you're not also feeling your feelings. Sometimes.
Totally.
Sometimes you just got to watch the first 10 minutes of Up and bawl.
Oh my God.
I've never made it through the first 10 minutes of Up without having a total meltdown.
Who does? Like if you don't respond to the first 10 minutes of Up,
call a friend.
Yeah.
Check in with someone.
I think there's something going on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
When my brother passed away last year, I wasn't home. I had to fly home the next day. Got home. Seth was like, let's go to your favorite spot to get fajitas. And I was like, fine. We're at dinner. I'm being a total bitch. Like I'm snappy, I'm moody, just not myself. We get back in the car to go home, and Seth was like, how about we put on some Taylor Swift? And I put on Would've, Could've, Should've. And Seth turned it up really loud, and I just sang that song at the top of my lungs with tears just falling down my face.
Oh, that just gave me chills.
Yeah, I'm tearing up now just thinking about it. It's like, I'm not fine and I need to stop pretending that I am. And he knew exactly what I needed, and it was just...
Yeah. And you felt safe enough to go all out, too. This is the most important part.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why he turned it up so loud. He's like, go to town.
That's so sweet.
And that's one of my favorite rage songs. Like just when I'm feeling a lot of feelings, like I love singing that song.
Yeah. So I think the classy takeaway for this lie that you don't have time to fall apart is, rest is a deadline too. And one thing I've always said is if you do not take a break, your body will take one for you.
100%.
Okay. Your body will absolutely fall apart before you are scheduled for it to do so. So little earthquakes.
I have so much respect for people who prioritize protecting their peace. I think that's such a boss-ass move.
Yeah.
Like, nope, I've got plans for myself today, and I'm not available, actually.
Right. Absolutely. Put that on the calendar, schedule it in, know your symptoms enough to know that you got to release the valve every once in a while. Have several mini breakdowns so you don't have a giant nervous one.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Lie number 3. No one will notice if I disappear for a bit.
Oof.
This is the isolation spiral, where pulling away under the guise of giving space or not burdening anyone.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically thinking that when I was in deep depression. Like, there wasn't even lying to myself about it. I was aware, but I still thought, no one's going to notice if I disappear for a bit. I don't need to communicate this. I'm not going to ask for help.
Yeah. And it's so hard because I don't want to speak for all women. I don't want to exclude men, but I feel like we have a fear of burdening other people.
100%. That is a fault of mine.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I feel like nobody wants to deal with my shit.
Right.
That is a constant fear for me, is burdening people with my mess. Even though I am ready and open to be that person for other people.
I know. And we're so hypocritical because we would be the first ones to show up, to pull somebody out, to be there for our friends, to say, lay it on me, or I'm just going to be here. You can talk as much or little as you want, but not me though. Not me though.
Yeah.
Doesn't apply to me. Yeah. I mean, I think I have struggled more with anxiety than depression. My depression usually comes in the form after a really high anxious episode where I just feel really weighted down. But going through unemployment and underemployment is the longest bout of continuous depression that I have had, of true feelings of not wanting to get out of bed, just totally overwhelmed with dread. And I mean, we've said it so much, but this podcast really pulled me out of it, because if you and I were not touching base regularly and either the planning or actually recording, I would have talked to no one about this.
I believe that.
Mm-hmm. I would have just continued to cry every day and fear the question of, how are you? I just didn't want to talk to anybody because I didn't want anyone to really ask, how are you? Because I'm not a good liar. And I could never do the whole I'm great, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
I would get really tripped up on being perceived for how I was doing.
Totally.
So I just didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to share with anyone unless you were someone who persistently calls me or you just caught me in that moment. I just thought I will just deal with this on my own, quietly and alone. And I will reach out back when my life is put together, because no one wants to deal with this.
And here's the other thing, what you just said. Your life is never put together.
Nope.
There's always going to be something.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, that is so true. So true.
But that is I think the high achiever mindset within you.
Yeah.
Is got to get there. But on the other side of it is that because you are such a high achiever, I think I don't mean just you. I'm using
the general we.
The general we, us high achievers are used to being the low maintenance friends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I got it. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And you're doing your friends a disservice, first of all. The friends that want to be there for you. And you're doing yourself a disservice.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not allowing yourself to ask for help.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of fear behind that, but that's what friends are for.
Right.
The real ones.
Yeah. The real ones would never want you to suffer in silence. I would never want any of my friends to suffer in silence. And why you got to treat yourself the way you would treat your friends.
Exactly. Which leads us to our next study, by psychosomatic medicine in 2020. They said perceived social support reduces cortisol response by 30%. Even one check-in text buffers isolation.
Wow. So check in on your high-achieving friends, truly. I think they get overlooked a lot because they're seemingly put together. They're very productive. Like all the lies we just said, kind of on the outside look like someone who's fine. But check in on your high achieving friends and don't just check in with them on the good things, right? Because a lot of high achievers have a lot of achievements. So calling them and being like, how's a new job? Is it going awesome? Like, oh my God, is the podcast going so great? Like, focusing on the achievements is only going to reinforce that mindset of that person that like, hey, I have to keep this up. But giving a good, how are you? Like, really, how are you?
Or like, doesn't even have to be a question. Hey, I'm thinking of you. I love you. Hope you're okay.
Yeah.
I think like letting your friend know, like, you're not alone, even though they may feel that way in the moment. It's giving them the option to speak up.
Right.
Like, I'm here. I'm here for you.
Right.
I love you. And like you've said this before, like, when I go silent, it's a huge indicator that something's going on. Like, some people are just terrible at replying to texts.
Right.
That's not me.
Yeah.
So my silence is more like it's an invisible smoke signal, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And people like you will see that.
Right.
And check me on it.
And I think that that's a good flip, right? That's a good way to flip this mindset, is that your silence is not noble.
Right.
You think you're jumping on the grenade as like this noble sacrificial thing. You're just blowing yourself up. It's not noble at all, right? So your silence isn't noble. It's a smoke signal. And real friends know how to read that smoke, which is why, Robin, when you do go quiet, like, I know something's up,
Yeah.
And maybe you just have to come up with a code word or an action that you tell people ahead of time. Be on the lookout for me doing this. And that's how you know that I'm not fine.
Right. Or, sending a kind of emoji or GIF. Like the dog with the coffee and the fire around it. Like,
yep, this is fine.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's some great advice.
I know that I'm not doing well if I have a visceral urge to rewatch Fleabag or Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Okay.
If you hear me being like, oh my God, I was rewatching this episode and it was either of those shows, know that I'm not okay. Those are my depression comfort shows because the characters are so fucked up in those shows that I'm like,
okay.
see, it's not that bad.
I'm doing better than that.
I'm doing better than them. Yep, exactly.
Oh my God. So what would you say the classy takeaway for this one would be?
I would say, that your absence echoes louder than you think. If you are a high achiever, you are probably high volume, very noticeable. You're probably the kind of person that everybody knows when you've entered a room. So why would you think that they wouldn't notice when you weren't in one?
Right.
You're a valuable person. People want you to be happy and healthy. So it's not as classy to just hibernate in your depression den. Classy is letting people know before you close the door on other people entering your life.
Right. The longer you push it off, the harder it's going to be to open up. When I had my anxiety attack a few weeks ago, and then I went over to our friend Jackie's house like a few days later, and she, just asked me, hey, how are you? How was your week? And like I made this face where I like was really struggling to just be like, I'm good.
Right.
And then I was like, well, if I'm being honest, I had an anxiety attack the other day and it was fucking terrible, like I'm not doing myself any favors by lying to my friends who genuinely care about my well-being.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And it felt good to just be honest in that moment.
Yeah. And receive love and support. It's what you need to get out.
And a lot of times you'll find that the friend that you're opening up to is going through something very similar.
Yeah. We all shoulder our own burdens. So let someone take that off your back for a minute.
Right. Okay. This is our final lie. Lie number 4. I should be able to handle this alone, which ties in nicely to lie number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very much like the superwoman myth, where like believing that strength means doing things alone, doing it solo. Asking for help means that you're a failure.
Yeah. And it's the should part for me. It's the inclusion of the word should.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of pressure with that. Like, I'm supposed to be able to handle anything. And it's like you don't want to disappoint yourself and you don't want to disappoint others. And so you feel this immense pressure to handle it all yourself. We're not meant to do this life alone. We are not meant to do life alone. We are supposed to be living in a village and in a community. I think the cavemen and the early settlers had it right.
Yes.
In some respect, in that they really relied on each other. And there are other cultures that family lives together for far longer than it does in the States. You have multi-generational homes, and it's because everybody is kind of raising each other. And a study that kind of highlights this is that women who seek support for subclinical depression see 60% faster mood recovery than solo coping. So when you are in a support group or you're doing outreach or you're leaning on each other, your mood recovery accelerates if you are not doing it alone. And that study was by the Journal of Consulting Psychology in 2023.
You know, I can vouch for this because I've sought all kinds of support to manage my depression, my anxiety. I'm currently on 2 medications for that. And it's really important to not only get things off of your chest, but just feeling okay with asking for help.
Right.
I think we internalize that asking for help is a bad thing. And like you said, like we are not meant to live this life alone. Like I think doing anything alone, this is in a way the ultimate lie we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And one thing that I love about living in Bend is that Seth and I are learning how community-oriented this town is. Everywhere we go, people talk about it all the time. The bingo I was at today, they were talking about community.
Yeah.
And like, we are here for you. You are safe. You are loved. Like, they even made us like put our hands up and say this to ourselves.
Oh,
It was really cool. And, you know, it's not, I've been doing things alone for so long that it's been a very difficult lie to overcome. And I've talked about that a lot. Like, this is something I had to do when Seth and I started dating. Like, what? You want to pay for all of my meals?
dude, relinquishing that is so challenging. I've been in recent situations where I've had to sit idly while someone picks up the check and not do that fake thing where I'm like, can you, no, I got it. Do you need, just sort of allowing someone to take care. If you can get to a point where you are honest with someone about how you're really feeling, that might be the beginning of a journey of no longer just shouldering the burden of life alone. There's a great quote from the book Into the Wild, the true story of the kid who made his way to Alaska and tried to live totally on his own, did not want to be a part of society. And before he passed, he, engraved, happiness is only real when it's shared.
Ooh.
And that is so true to me, that in order to receive that happiness of community, you have to let them into the sadness as well.
Yeah.
it can't just be a one-sided emotion that people get from you, because they're going to be the ones that pull you out of your depression well that you may be in. And you don't want to just bury yourself deeper and deeper and deeper alone, because then you're going to be so far gone that no one can hear you down there.
Yeah.
So you have to share your burdens with other people so you can also share your happiness with them as well.
That's right. It's a strength.
It is.
To share your feelings, to be vulnerable, to be honest. It's being true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that I'm this late in life to learn that, to actually feel that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy that I've gotten here.
Yeah.
Because remembering how I was when I was telling myself all of these lies, like it only made things more difficult and I was miserable.
Right. And how did you get out of those moments? I've never gotten out of a depression alone. I'll tell you that much right now. I may have hid in there for a long time, but the thing that pulls me out is always by sharing with other people or just being vulnerable and letting someone in.
Right. Nailed it. Handling something alone is like doing a bench press with one arm. It's potentially possible, but why injure yourself when there is probably a spotter free?
Yeah. I need a spotter for just the bar when I bench press.
Right. I'm there for you.
Okay.
I got you.
Good. Well, I think that's a nice segue to like a classy action, right? Where you can make a spotters list. Like, who are the 3 people, or maybe there's more, that you can text instead of bench pressing alone with one arm.
Right. You and I have gotten so much closer through this podcast that you're the first person most of the time that comes to mind when I'm literally doing anything. Like, I got to tell Deborah about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
See what she says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have those people. We're lucky that we have such frequent, touch bases with each other from planning and recording. And that's great. And thankfully, I also have other people that literally the second I've gotten to a point now where I'm finally the person that when something bad happens, I reach out to someone immediately. Because for a long time, I didn't do that.
Right.
For a long time, I didn't want to be that burden. I felt like I could handle it alone. And now I've finally become the person who now everybody knows what's going on with me all the time.
Yeah. And that's a superpower.
Yeah.
There are different ways to be considered a superwoman. Like we talked about, I should be able to handle this alone as a superwoman myth.
Mm-hmm.
But, consider the fact that you are a superwoman, but you also need a sidekick.
Yeah.
Superheroes need sidekicks.
Yeah, look at Batman and Robin. And Robin.
Yeah.
They did it together.
Yeah. And I always loved those dynamic duos working together.
Everybody loves a dynamic duo. Everyone loves a team, a squad. They're way cooler than just the braggadocio that does it alone.
Right. And everyone has their strengths. Community is so important. And you need to use that to your strengths.
Yeah. So if any of those lies sounded like truths that you tell yourselves regularly, hopefully these takeaways can help you reframe how you approach some of your mental health highs and lows.
Well said. This life is full of hurdles. It's full of dumpster fires. It's full of tragedy, but it's also full of love and joy and support and community. And the more you focus on community, the more support you're going to have during those very difficult times.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's the hardest thing you're going through in your whole life, having someone sitting next to you is going to feel a hell of a lot better than sitting on the curb alone.
Yep. Perfect. Love it. Okay, well, let's transition to our class act of the week. Each week, Robin and I take turns highlighting a person, place, thing, parasocial relationship that we just feel embodies all that is classy. And this week, it's Robin's turn. So, Robin, what's your class act of the week?
So, unintentionally, my class act actually pairs perfectly with our classy topic today.
Oh, nice.
So, I want to talk about a creator I've been following on TikTok. Her name's Scarlett, and her handle is chronically girl. She popped up on my FYP one day sharing this insane story about her maternal grandmother. It's insane. It's so awful. Truly terrible woman.
Oh, no.
But she shares these deeply vulnerable, painful childhood stories that, in the comments, way too many people are able to identify with, including myself, which is why I love watching her tell her stories, because it makes my trauma feel more normal.
Mm-hmm.
And she does it with this really great mix of honesty, humor. She clearly has a great survival instinct that I find remarkable. She's a fantastic storyteller. So she's been through these things with her parents, her maternal grandparents. Like, they put her through things that no child should ever experience. And instead of letting those experiences define her, she turned them into storytelling, connection, and healing for other people. But I've also seen her talk about, like, the reason why people want to know, like, how are you so put together now? Like, you seem like you're doing really well for yourself. And she was like, well, I just never believed what they were telling me. Like, I knew that wasn't true. And for a kid to be able to be like, no, that's not my truth.
Yeah.
Is insane to me.
For sure.
So she's now no contact with her family. She's engaged to someone who adores her. Her ring is it's massive. It's beautiful. She is thriving, and she is proof that your origin story does not have to be your forever identity. And I feel like I am living that truth to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
But it's so true. Where you came from does not define where you're going. You always have the opportunity to make a change. And that is why Scarlett is my class act of the week, because she shows you that you can build an entirely different life than the one you were handed. The end.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. That's such a great point. You are writing your story every single day. Your story wasn't written for you. So take control of your own narrative. I'll have to check her out.
Like that song, the rest is still unwritten.
Feel the rain on your skin. Okay. Copyright. Okay, let's finish strong with one of our favorite segments, Class or Crass. This is where we give a scenario and we ask the age-old question. Is it classy or is it crassy? You ready for this week's?
Let's hear it.
Okay. You plan a night out with friends and finally score a reservation, but the only table available is outside in the early winter. You book it without checking first. Is it classy for taking initiative or crass for not giving everyone a chance to veto the patio life?
I would be pissed.
Yeah.
I would be pissed. I don't like being cold. I don't want to be cold while I'm eating. The same way I don't want to be sweating my ass off when I'm eating.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
It goes both ways, because obviously both of us, having lived in Austin, we've been in those circumstances where, like, the only table is outside and it's July and they have the misters. Oh, they have the misters, though. It's not the same.
No.
It's never the same. Now my hair is just frizzy. I'm a little bit wet and I'm super hot and humid out here. No, thank you.
Yeah. I would say, like, don't even make the reservation until you talk to the group.
Right.
Hey, guys, I know this is where we want to go, but the only way we can get a table is if we're sitting outside. They do have heaters. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to say yes or no, which I would be like, can we just go somewhere else this time?
I know. And at the same time, I've been that person that's like, it's fine. It's fine. You guys sit you can sit closer to the heat lamps. Like, I'm fine over here. Just to hang. But the reality is like, yeah, you can either go somewhere else or just like hang out at someone's house.
Yeah.
We're old enough now, like we don't have to voluntarily be uncomfortable. But if you are more of a social person and you want to try out a new spot or something like that, yeah, I think it is crass to assume that just because you're fine with a heat lamp and a breezy patio doesn't mean that everybody else is. And there was a time where I would roll my eyes at someone for being like, I don't want to sit on the patio. Let's just go somewhere else. And if it was a place that I wanted to eat, I would just be like, just fucking bundle up. All right. Just tolerate it for the fucking goat cheese balls that we're about to eat, but now that I'm older and comfort is like one of the most important things to me, I would say this would be crass if this happened to me.
Yeah. Yep. The classy thing is to check in with everyone first, because you want everyone to have an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. You can't please everyone, but if most people are going to be pissed, it's crass.
Yep. 100%.
Declared.
Declared.
Well, that's our show. Remember, not everything your brain tells you is true. It's often trying to protect you, even when you don't need it to.
High-functioning depression thrives on that kind of thinking. But tonight, we rewrote the ending.
If one of these lies hit home, challenge it today. And if you're the friend spotting them in someone else, be the mirror.
Send us your lie-busting stories at artofclassiness@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram and TikTok at Art of Classiness.
Thanks for listening. And remember, classy is a state of mind.
So mind your classiness. Bye.